are a woman and you're literally at a dead end with your health. You have PCOS, endometriosis. The doctors are telling you that nothing can help you with your womb and you are completely lost. You don't know what's wrong with you anymore, but you don't know how to move forward. And you know definitively that you are blocked in your sexual energy and that is blocking you in your life. I want you to listen to this incredible story. Today, we have a beloved sister who's been inside the SCM space for 6 months, who came in with exactly that problem. And I want us to walk through her journey in just a few months of what has shifted for her since she began. So, without further ado, okay, my loves, I am so excited to welcome my darling Stacey. Babe, land us in just a little intro about yourself, who you are, where you are, age, vibes.
Awesome. Hi there, I'm Stacey. I currently live in London and I'm 30 years old. For me, I've been on a spiritual journey for a while. It was kind of strange how Em found me. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. She just happened to pop up on Instagram one day, and a lot of what she was sharing on her page really resonated with things that I'd either been reading or had heard about or had been contemplating at the time. And so I started following her and just loved what she was sharing. I loved her energy. And I thought, okay, well, I don't know anything about this person, but I really want to learn more. And I was in quite a dark space at the time, certainly struggling a lot with my mental health, contemplating quite dark things, and really struggling with existentialism in general. Definitely a lot more in my masculine now that I really know what that is. Definitely more in survival mode and yeah, just lost for purpose, just existing really. So not in the best space. And for me, following Em and seeing what she was sharing just on, her social media and experiences with other women and what they'd been through and her own story, I kept saying to her, you give me hope. It really gives me a sense of hope. And yeah, keen to learn from you and see where it goes.
Then we began.
And it's been awesome. It really has. It's been a lot. Um, I think the biggest thing for me at the moment was actually just looking back when I first got my journal and was prepping and getting all excited for this and like I've got everything organized. I'm going to learn so much. I'm going to do all the practices and just setting the intention at the beginning. And now going back and actually looking at each of those pointers and going, I didn't really like see a sudden shift or I didn't see it suddenly happen. But now that I look back, I actually have done what I set out to do. And I'm definitely a lot more aware of who I am as a person. Have I figured out my purpose? No, I think we're all still figuring it out. But I definitely feel a lot more optimistic, um, a lot more excited for what's ahead, even though I don't know what that is, and a lot more in tune with myself, I think. And as much as, there are still stresses, there are still things that I'm battling with, I am definitely not in survival mode in the same way that I was. I've become aware of the feminine energy and practices to kind of pull me out of being this like hyper masculine or coming from a place of like hyper masculinity, moving more into my feminine, which is one of the intentions I set at the beginning of the journey. So Em has given me the pointers and practical ways because I need practical things. It can't just be theory. It's like, what do I need to do to really move me out of that space? So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing. It also has been like so amazing to see your journey from like when we first connected it and to like where you are now. I feel like there's just been like worlds that have happened. I'm really curious for you to share a little bit about like what was kind of specifically happening when we first met, like health stuff, life stuff, even your sex energy or your mindset. What was sort of your biggest sticking points?
So, definitely, obviously, struggling with my depression, wanting to really love myself more or connect with myself more. I was feeling like just very numb to things, very closed off. Um, Health-wise, I've been struggling with endometriosis for years. It was something I was diagnosed with at 17. And yeah, just every time there was an issue with it, or every time I seeked help for it, it was just medicine, 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 medicine. And for me, that was normal. It was just, yeah, numb it or just put more artificial hormones into my body kind of thing. I'd been wanting to have surgery for a long time. I'd been on a waiting list for surgery to have the lesions and the growth removed. But yeah, I was just really feeling stuck at the beginning, really stuck and lost and just not in a good place at all. And yeah, for me, it was really finding you, was finding a sense of hope and this person who was going to go, okay, well, I can't promise to fix things, but I'm going to teach you things and I'm going to try and show you a way to reconnect with yourself and love you again and reconnect with your body and see that what is wrong with your body or the disease that she has is trying to show you something. It's messages. It's not just, oh, there's something wrong with you and that's that. There's a lot more to that. And that's really how I now see my body and what I've been through. Um, I now, after like a really rapid succession, have had surgery and I'm recovering and have had a lot of sort of medical breakthroughs, things that no other doctors had ever picked up in 30 years, and multiple appointments and multiple specialists, and have now been brought to the surface, which has been just mind blowing for me and my family as well. And now I'm navigating my way through, what is next and how do I actually really take care of my body and love her in the best way possible, like eating the right things, really treating her well, the practices that are within SEM, to really engage with your body again and not be so numb and cut off from it. Um, and yeah, just I think my whole perspective on my body has changed as well. I don't want to put artificial things into her. I really want to nurture her and take care of her. And I think the biggest thing as well that I saw shift was before, where periods were so painful and so heavy, and I used to dread them before being on any form of the pill. Whereas now, coming off the pill or any sort of artificial hormone treatment, I really just wanted to connect, with my natural cycle and really got into cycle syncing and learned more about that and really started to embrace my body and go, okay, I see you, like you're part of me and this is what you're trying to show me. And I think I just really wanted to connect with that. Whereas before, if somebody had to say, listen to your yoni or connect with your yoni, it was like, what are you saying? That is so bizarre. Um, Whereas now it's you're given the practices and you're given practical ways of really going, okay, yeah, I really feel something. Something is shifted, something is different, and I really want to nurture and protect that.
Yeah, and also it's like is so amazing. Just like reiterate for anyone who is watching this, like when you arrived in literally with like health stuff, it had been blocked for like you said 30 years, where it was like nothing was moving, and then even here with like needing surgeries and needing health stuff, nothing had shifted. And I remember our first call, you were like, I'm just blocked, like everything doesn't move, nothing moves. And then the deeper you tuned into your body and the more you started to like listen in and just get, I guess it was like I was curious, right?
Yeah.
So much changed. It was like I remember getting messages from you and like, all the appointments have opened, the surgery is happening, we've discovered this has moved. You came off contraception for a while, and it was the first time you'd ever had a normal bleed in your life, and your womb just like, from someone who has like, if anyone here knows anything about medicine, if you have had endometriosis or PCOS, to get a normal period coming off contraception, like within a few weeks or months, is like,
It was, yeah, I think, because I came off in, was it about June, July?
yeah.
And by August, September, I'd had two normal periods.
And
which
they
was
were
wild.
connecting with the moon, and like he was like fully like
Yeah, because the one I remember saying to you, oh, I'm late. Like, what is happening? Is my body now just reverting back to its old ways? And then I remember you saying, like, no, it was a lot of women are now actually syncing up with the moon. And we did that whole call. It was a group call, and a few people saying, yeah, my cycle's like completely out, but it's totally aligned with the moon now, which is just wild. But yeah, it was strange to me because I hadn't had a period that hadn't been like a breakthrough bleed, just being on contraception since about 16. Before, no, I was put on stuff at 16. So prior to 16. So for so many years, that was just blocked and normal, and that's just how it was. And yeah, like you said, I was just really feeling stuck and feeling like nothing's happening within my career, within like getting treatment, um, mental health. It's just, I felt like it was just compounding and nothing was moving, nothing was getting better. And I don't know, maybe some people will say it's coincidence, but I think it's more than that. Like from the time we started working together, there was just hope within me and really reconnecting with my body again. And as much as it's not easy, I think, especially as women and the society we live in, one of the intentions I really set for myself in the beginning was to love me more and fall in love with my body more and try and judge it less. And again, some of the, like the mirror gazing practices at the beginning were really, really hard, and I hated it. And we had to do it every day. And I thought I didn't enjoy the practices at first. Um, it wasn't fun, but
go
I
do your vlog. Otherwise, we'd all be orgasmic all the time. Like
yeah.
you've got vlogs.
So that's why I thought, I've committed to this. I'm going to do the work, whether it's hard, whether I like it or not, you're going to do the things. And each day I had to just try and forgive myself and try and be present and try and just see my body for the vessel that it is and not just this thing that challenges me and resists what I'm trying to fix. And that for me was quite transformative. Like just seeing the progress that I made within myself and really loving myself more. Like I'm not flawless by any means, but it's saying, okay, there are things that I judge, but I don't have to judge them so harshly, or I understand them a bit better. And what is this trying to show me? And how can I move through this and forgive myself rather than just being like, I see you and that's that. There's so much more depth to it, which before I would never have viewed myself or even seen it from that perspective.
I often like to mirror that as well, see where like we are in such a hyper masculine conditioned society. And I talk about it all the time because it's just like solve it, problem, fix, medicate, linear, all it needs to make sense, it needs to be this. But when we're then just innately blocked, and blockages for me are like mental health, physical health, life, everything is then blocked, 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 blocked. We have to move into the subtle energetics, and the greatest way to go there and to find where we're blocked is our life force, because it's the first thing that will show us where it doesn't want to move, where we don't want to see ourselves, where we don't want to feel ourselves, where we don't want to experience it. And as we start going into these practices, at least I found with my journey as well, other impulses in our life begin to change, and it's like a change in the quantum field. And again, it's all this like feminine esoteric sounding process, but it changes our linear reality.
Yeah.
And I feel, yeah, with what you're sharing, it was just so beautiful as well, watching your whole journey of like very linear, very blocked, to like getting subtle. Things are getting unblocked and I don't get it, but like there was like, ooh.
Just go with the flow. I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna figure it out as we go. But that's it. And I think that's been the best part of this whole journey for me was I remember in the beginning saying to you, like, I feel so blocked and I don't know what to do. Like, I've tried this and I've tried that, and I'm very solution based. I have to, if it's a problem, I need to fix it. And was doing all this research, was doing all this reading, but it was a lot of theory. Whereas what you have, it's theory, and this is what you actually do practically. So, and this is why you do it. It's not just looking at yourself in the mirror for 5 minutes because you're like checking out your pores or something. Like you're actually eye gazing, or you're actually connecting with the soul. You're connecting with yourself. You're coming back to you. And I think that's what I really valued so much about this journey was having the practical tools or activities or practices where, okay, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's feeling blocked. How can I fix this, or how can I reconnect with myself to really move that energy and to move through what is feeling stagnant and suffocating? So without this, I'd still be stuck. I really would, because yes, I was reading about these things or finding these things that would apparently help, but was I doing them correctly, or were they the right things to be doing? Not really. Was this really actually gave me an actionable plan and a framework and a foundation, which is what I needed, because otherwise I was just,
No, it's something I'm like so glad you touched on because it's often an area I have to combat in the field. It's something I had to work with myself too, by the way, because I was super masculine when I started my journey and like psychology and this and everything had to like, but we need a masculine structure or a method to give us a safe space to go into the more metaphysical, esoteric, emotional, but then to rewire the subconscious and to go into these experiences that fundamentally shift us from the subconscious to the body to the fascial system to then our lives.
yeah,
It is really important because you can read all the books in the world and listen to all the podcasts, and I was the same, and like grasping at straws and learning all this stuff, but like it doesn't go inward. And it also, if we're doing something and it doesn't make sense to us, mind body connection, like it's just
yeah,
not land.
doesn't feel.
So I'm really glad you shared that because again, it's like a big passion point of mine for SEM is like it has such a masculine structure, but it's so you can get into your feminine energy so you can actually receive the shift in your life and integrate both parts of you like into your reality.
It really gives you the knowledge that you need and wisdom that you've obviously accumulated and things that you've learned and found what works for you, what doesn't. And yeah, for me, it's just as much as you say it's a masculine framework, it really is okay. Well, this is the plan, but these are the practices that ultimately you need, not just for 3 months, but for your whole life to really reconnect with yourself, to go into your feminine energy, to honor your masculine energy. And I think that's what's the best part about this, because there's so much that's in there and it obviously has to be structured. But if you are lost or you are stuck and you're struggling and you're like, I've tried the breath work, I've tried the tapping, I've done this really gives you the plan that you need to kind of go through that journey at the right stages and go through different blocks or go through different areas of your life or your energy itself to kind of unlock one thing and move into the next thing. It's structured in such a way. So
Question
it's
I have a
mm,
couple questions.
yes.
What do you feel has been your like biggest transformation inside the space? What would it be for you if you had to like feel into it?
I would say loving my body more and being less judgmental of it and really listening into my body and what it needs, and if something is wrong, what is it trying to tell me? Um, and just the whole flow of how things have actually happened. It was like, okay, you're hearing me now. I'm willing to meet you halfway, and I can see that you're actually wanting to heal. You're wanting to work with me. You're wanting to go inward. And I think that's what ultimately shifted things in the 3D or external world to kind of start happening and get the help that I needed, get the treatment that I needed, really get answers on things, answers I wasn't necessarily even seeking, but things were revealed to me. And I think it's because I was really suddenly paying attention to my body and going inward rather than just being numb and going, well, this is just what I'm in. This is just what I'm stuck with. So that for me really flipped. And then, yeah, just becoming a lot more aware, I think, of my mental space as well and how I was viewing things and how I was seeing the world rather than, you know, seeing how I'm reacting to things and the energy I'm putting out there and how I'm viewing things. It's really shifted my perspective. I've got a lot more a lot more of an optimistic view on life and the world in general. Like I'm definitely not woo be clappy and hugging trees, but I'm in a much better space mentally than where I started. So for me, I think it's really been mental and physical, the shift that I've seen and since starting the journey.
Crazy, but also so beautiful. I feel like it's, yeah, when our mental health heals and our physical body starts healing and we start understanding things, and there's this like breath. I remember I had it too. There was this one morning I woke up and I used to wait for the anxiety to like land. You know, I would wake up and I was fine, and then I was like, I was waiting. I was like, I'm ready for it, and it would just like
Yeah.
sink onto me, and I'd be like, another day now. I'm like,
Yeah.
girl. And then there was this moment one morning where I woke up and I was like waiting for it. And then it just didn't land, and I was like,
Oh,
same house. I could still hear my dad downstairs making tea, and I like walked down the stairs slowly. He was like, "Hello, darling," and I was like. And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Nothing. That's the problem. We're not the problem." Like, and we were both like staring, and he was like, "I'll make tea."
I don't know what's happening now, but I'm gonna make tea.
Changed. Like, those moments. And I think my biggest prayer when women start SEM, wherever you are on the track, is like that shift in your spirit just starts to take you on a path that is so profound because it's God led. It's like it's birthed through your rekindling in your being, in your portal, you know?
That's another thing, actually. I, like I said at the beginning, was on a spiritual journey. I've been trying to figure things out, but religion never really gelled with me. And I still wouldn't say I'm religious, but I've definitely felt a pull back to source or a higher power and really wanting to build a relationship with that and connect with that. Whereas before it was kind of a disconnect, or I think the best way I could put it is I felt abandoned by a higher power, so I abandoned it.
Mm.
I wasn't interested. It was like, well, this is the circumstance that I'm in at the moment, and things just aren't getting better, and I'm blocked, so I'm done with you. Whereas we're beginning the journey, some of the practices or some of the things within SEM were definitely triggers. There were things where I thought, I don't want to do this. This does not gel with me. And now I have to do this every day. And it's not aligned with me, but I'm gonna try. And at first, again, it felt ridiculous. It felt a bit, it didn't feel true to me. But again, something just gradually shifted. And it wasn't like I woke up one day and it was just like, I want to start praying now. It was genuinely like a gradual thing as I went through the practices. And praying, kind of just a daily thing that I do now. And really just noticing, like, from a spiritual perspective, like, how did the universe either move through me or move around me through the people around me today? And what is there to be grateful for? And that has definitely shifted. And for me, it's so weird. It is really so weird because prior to this, it was I really was anti-religion or not anti-spiritual at all, but definitely anti-religion. I was not keen on praying. I was not keen on reading any sort of biblical script. But now I'm actually putting effort into it and I'm wanting to do it without M telling me you have to do this or without anybody else telling me you have to do this.
Yeah.
Just for me, it's come along naturally. And it took, I would say, probably about the first 2, 3 weeks of going through SEM for me to actually go, okay, I'm going to do this, or I
Mm.
want to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that for me is also shifted, which I didn't expect it to, because it wasn't an intention. It wasn't an intention that I set for myself at the beginning. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to find God or reconnect with God and I'm going to talk to him. And that was literally not one of my intentions at all. But yeah, I'm there.
Baby. I also get so excited because I always say it's a relationship, not a religion, but our connection here and our connection here leads to our reality. And a lot of people get so lost in like, when's this going to happen for me? When are these opportunities going to come? And I'm like, you will see with your relationship with source, whatever it is, that natural progression, that's how your life is going to start to be. It's like there's this weird, I never expected that. I wasn't, Daniel's favorite sentence is that was unexpected. And I'm like, I expect miracles. I expect the unexpected miraculous because I also went through that process where it was like, oh, I feel you now, and now I commune with you, and now you're just an intimate part of my conscious relating to this experience. And that's really wow, like, and you feel it, and it's like
Yeah.
in your body. Couple things, because I know you and I are like,
We'll talk all day.
was there anything that really stopped you from joining?
That nearly stopped me from joining.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I was in such a bad space that I was desperate to just feel better, to have some sort of solution, help, be unstuck, move things that were blocking me. I was so desperate, and that's quite sad to say, but I really was. I wasn't in a good space. And the thought of, I don't know, going to therapy was just no. I tried shamanic healing. I'd been to a few breath work sessions. I tried a few different things, but for me, it didn't really feel like something shifted. And I don't know, maybe I placed too much expectation on what a shift or what growth is, maybe. But I, yeah, I was just super keen to learn and to feel better, I think. But if anybody was blocked or felt like I can't actually do this, and this is so weird to say, but really pray into it because that's actually what I did. At first, after like the first call with M and just chatting to her about my circumstances at the time and, you know, explaining where I was, and I just, yeah, didn't know what to do. I was just going to carry on existing, carry on plodding along, as best I could, but it wasn't looking very bright or promising. And I remember saying to the universe, I was walking to work the one day and I looked up at the sky and I said, well, if this is what I'm meant to do, if I'm meant to heal, and if M is the person that's going to help me and teach me, then please let this work out. So I prayed about it. I don't know who I was praying to at the time, but I literally I put it out there and I said, if this is what I'm meant to do, please, please let it work out. And then it did. And now we're here and it's great.
Oh, baby.
So again, it's come like full circle because it was literally just praying out of desperation, being like, I don't know who you are. I don't know if anyone's listening, but I need help. And M knows, well, I think M knows what she's doing. M's given me this sense of hope and this optimism. And like she's just so convinced that things are going to change. So I'm going with her.
Babe, that's a good substance to be consuming, I can tell you. Like it's contagious. Last question I would have for you, and you kind of dropped in on it a little bit, but I still love to do it right at the end, is if you take a minute and you close down your eyes and you take a breath and you imagine there's a woman sitting opposite you who's on the fence, who's considering SEM, but there's stuff that might be blocking her or she's feeling sticky on it. What would you directly want to share to her? What would you say to her?
That you are probably not truly connected with yourself the way that you think you are. And you are a divine being. And this will really give you the tools and the plan to reconnect with her and just love yourself and love what is happening around you. And it will give you a different perspective on things, a different perspective on life, and just fill you with a lot of hope and optimism. And I feel that if you're stuck and you are reconsidering or you're not sure, take the leap, pray into it, believe that you can get better, and it will. Because it will.
Look at you. I told you one day you're going to be on the other side of me. Like,
You won't always understand it, and you won't know why necessarily, because like it's not some miraculous thing where, this envelope is just going to fall from the sky and be like, there is your plan. This is what you do. There are all your answers. But you're certainly going to feel a lot better and a lot more optimistic. And it's a damn lot better from where I was. So if that can change for me, it can definitely change for other people. So
thank you for sharing. Thank you for being in this space and also walking us through your journey. Obviously, I've got to see it from start to finish, but for other women, like it's so fucking inspiring. Like I'm consistently inspired by everything you've been through and like when we first connected. But thank you for sharing it here. And for the girls who, if you are watching this and if it resonates, you're welcome to book in a call. There's always a link below. But from my heart to yours, Stace, thank you for being.
thank you. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. It's been amazing, amazing to work with you and chat to you about all kinds of things and bounce it off of you. And it's just been so easy and so open. And also just amazing to see like what other women have actually gone through who have also gone through SEM, completely different shifts in their lives, like not physical health necessarily, but within their relationships, with other people, with their partners, with themselves. Like everybody has experienced a shift, the girls that are like within this group. And that's really cool to see. And
Yeah.
you're so happy for them. You don't know these people, but it's so beautiful to see a change and to see them like growing and experiencing things differently. And again, like I said, you feel different, you feel more optimistic, you view things from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And I think that's been exactly the same for all the other girls,
Yeah.
each
It's
in their own way, but there's been a shift.
it's always the best, like sitting in the middle and like seeing everyone's different journeys. And I'm always like, I mean, outcomes will vary depending on the soul. But like, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, for me, like I set my intentions, but I thought the shift in me would be like just mental. I thought my mental health would do like a complete 180 and I was going to find my purpose and I was going to this and I was going to that. But then my body decided to come in and go, actually, we're going to do some stuff now. We're going to heal. So yeah, it might not happen in the way that you expect. And I don't think you should place too much expectation on it or be so set on what you think success is at the end of this journey. But there definitely will be changes and movement for the better.
Thank you for sharing, baby. I love you so much. And I'm so
Thank
excited to see
you.
everything that unfolds and to all the girls who watch one day. We're